So if any of y'all have been paying attention to the Twitter sphere or Call of Duty news in general, you know that a lot of information keeps bouncing around all over the place about the state of Call of Duty right now, and maybe the different microtransactions they're going to try to cover, whether it be modifying the battle pass or DLCs to where you have to buy into the specific modes to get access to them. So it's not like everybody gets the game modes and you get content with the season pass, but now you have to buy a little battle pass. But then that turned around to be allegedly fake after a 48-hour just crazy storm online about how much people hate the idea of having to pay for limited time modes. They completely lost it, and then Activision came out and said, no, that's not actually happening in Black Ops 7. But if you go and read the very specific wording of it, it was commenting as almost is it's not happening in the next Call of Duty. They don't say it's never happening in Call of Duty. They're just saying it's not happening in Black Ops 7. So you never know. In the future, we might have to pay for LTMs like we had to use to pay for DLC packs back in the day. But we paid for good content back then, and we got the modes for free. But now we get free content that's horrid, and sometimes the modes are good. Depends, hit or miss. You never know. But today, we're going to be just covering the news coming out that despite Black Ops 6 dropping with one of the highest record, player counts of all time, because they had 34 million players on Game Pass who could play it for free, and then everybody else buying it. So they had the largest player pool they possibly could, and they hit a large numbers. If you remember, they were bragging about the number of people who were playing the game, never mentioned about units sold. Well, it turns out Black Ops 6 player count is completely in the dirt. It is, and I quote, the lowest in recent years. Now I'm going to put an image up on screen. This is coming out of the game business, where they're asking if Xbox's Call of Duty Game Pass gamble paid off. You know how they paid $69 billion to acquire Activision to then just put all the Call of Duties on Game Pass, and then they first tried launching Black Ops 6 for free if you had Game Pass. I mean, I know you're technically paying for Game Pass, but if you already had it, then it is free to you. And they supposedly had the largest number of people download it. Let's just call it that, because they didn't buy individual copies. They downloaded it. Well, it turns out, despite all of that, they have lower player numbers than MW3. Now, their selection of time frame will be March of each year. So March of 23, 24, and 25. So in 23, that was Modern Warfare 22. 22.4 million people playing. Okay. March of 24, 20.8 million players. Okay. Well, MW23 took a massive hit because MW22 was so bad. Black Ops 6, March of 25. Lost 200,000 more. Now, it wasn't the biggest loss, but when you have access to 34 million Game Pass owners, which could possibly get it on both Xbox and PC, and you still have lower player numbers, that's a very, very, very bad thing. And a lot of people will try to say that we can't listen to the Steam charts. Steam charts is just the tiniest. Steam is just so few of the player base. Well, it turns out the kind of player fall off has been mirrored across the different platforms. Like, yes, we don't know the exact numbers on Xbox. We don't know it on Battle.net. We don't know it on PlayStation, but we know it on Steam. But when you can observe the percentage fall off happening, that was accurate. And especially when in December and January after Black Ops 6's release. Keep in mind, this is when Warzone, MW2, and MW23 is in that mix. And I'm pretty sure they're doing the same type of totaling of player numbers on Call of Duty HQ on console as they're doing on Steam, because they have a launcher within launchers. I digress. They lost 43.5% in December, and then they lost another 34% in January, another 11% in February. March, another 18.25%. Now, they drop for Verdansk, right? They jump up 55% of their lowest numbers ever. So on Steam, they went from 44K to 69K. So they jumped 55% of what already existed. So that's not a lot. Like, if you lose 10% of a million, that's 900,000. But if you gain 10% on 900,000, that's 990,000. So you're still down. That's kind of like what's happening. Well, if you look at the last 30 days, now that April has locked in from that huge Verdansk push, from Warzone Casual, all of this stuff, we're back to losing players again. And keep in mind, this is after Warzone, overhyped, over the top. We're bringing back Verdansk. We're rolling back gameplay features to make it feel like Modern Warfare 20 when Verdansk launched. We're doing all these things. We're adding Warzone Casual. The numbers are still tanking. But with a caveat to that, it seems like Warzone Casuals has actually been a really good thing. A lot of people have been complaining about hackers. A lot of people have been complaining about super sweats and skill-based matchmaking. Well, Warzone Casual is like 128 bots and the rest are players, which usually ends up being a lot of people being able to just play normally, maybe do challenges or whatnot for the first chunk of the match. And then the last handful of circles will be all the players in the game. Because unless you speedrun and killed other players in the beginning, most of the time everyone's making it to the end. Now, I have seen a match where the last team versus us was just bots. I've seen that happen, and it's hilarious. But it's universally liked by, parents, by people who don't have much free time, who can't invest, who can't get better, who just want to hop on for a couple games with friends. They love Warzone Casuals. And I think that's helping keeping the player base from dropping off a cliff. I've done some Warzone Casuals here or there. When we were hunting that Warzone limited time skin, we went in there. And it took us a couple hours, but we were able to get the skin because we didn't have to worry about everybody attacking us nonstop. So if you're going for Warzone camo challenges, 100% Warzone completion, if that exists, Casuals is where you're going to go. So it's loved, right? So now let's take that mindset and go to multiplayer, where people hate the multiplayer. The maps are bad, the gameplay is bad. Like this is, in my opinion, and I know that other people won't agree. In my opinion, this is the worst multiplayer for any Call of Duty that's ever existed. But let's take the premise of Warzone Casual and do that in multiplayer. But let's also do that in every multiplayer moving forward. Do you see where I'm going with this? If people are happy in like bot main game modes in Warzone, why would they not do that in multiplayer? If it has the potential to keep more people playing, they should want to keep those numbers around and bring that over so that people who are getting so tired of skill-based can go and do multiplayer casuals where, say they do 6v6, you might have, let's call it on the middle ground, 3 normal players on one team, 3 bots on one team. And same with the mirror, 3 enemy team players, 3 bots, right? And bots have been around for the longest time. Black Ops 2, I believe, had combat training where you would have a mixture of players and bots. So this is nothing new. This is a mode that can come back from, what, 2012 or 2013? Immediately have access to it again. But if they start seeing that Warzone Casual is the thing that's carrying Warzone now, because Ranked is having nonstop issues, matchmaking issues, or people just don't want to play because they're tired of getting dumpstered on or thinking everyone's hacking, then maybe multiplayer casuals is going to start being the thing in COD moving forward. I don't think it's too far of a stretch to see that. And the question that comes to me is, will they tell us? Now, I already speculate that there might be bots running in multiplayer lobbies right now in Call of Duty. Had a weird match the other night where most of the entire enemy team was no prestige level 55. My entire team was mainly prestige masters, orange numbers going up, but the enemy team had no prestige masters and most of them were no prestiges level 55. And they were all wearing the same camo. Now that could have just been a team, could have been secondary accounts, but it's weird seeing that and coming from casual because the match wasn't nowhere near as difficult. So is that something we need to start being aware of moving forward with Call of Duty? Is we might start moving towards the Titanfall route where a good chunk of the lobby are bots and very few are people. I don't play PvP to deal with bots. I only want to deal with other players. And I wish we didn't have the skill-based matchmaking we did, so it was more stretched out. It's different. You feel different from game to game. Not the same head glitches, same guns, same playstyle, same streaks, everything. That's the issue I have with skill-based matchmaking right now. Every match feels the exact same. But if they start mixing in bots, that's where I tap out. So this investment that Microsoft has done so far, I would argue, has not paid off. Their whole goal was to get these Call of Duties and put them on Game Pass for everybody to play. And lo and behold, they're tanking. So I definitely want to know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Do you think it's just we're on the struggle bus and this is the COD moving forward? Do you think Microsoft is officially going to Halo COD now and it's just dead? Or what? Definitely let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Drop a like if you did, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.